So basically, yeah, just try and open it up to the floor. Has anybody got any questions they'd like to ask Ryan? Is anyone on the fashion or fashion retail side or the styling side? Got a question here?
Hi. I was just wondering, I'm currently living in Manchester and I keep thinking about the idea about moving to London. Do you think it's important to be in London when you're in fashion? Can you do it, anywhere outside of the UK? Is it?
This is controversial.
Yeah.
I remember when I was actually asked to leave my fashion degree course by the head of the course because he thought I was too much trouble. And he kind of said, you're already doing it, just go. We're not going to rewrite the curriculum to suit what you want, even though what you're saying is right. It's like, the education industry, it's about money, it's about bums on seats. We're not going to change it, just go. And at that point in time, I left. And then I asked him, again as a friend, because I knew him socially too, for some advice, and the same question. And he told me definitely not. Stay up north. You can definitely, there are creative industries up north, which I wholeheartedly agree and support. But there's a sphere of kind of influences in the fashion industry, and if you want to have those people at your fingertips, it's very hard to do it based 200 miles away from them, because there will always be other people. If it's a stylist that's pulling in your jewellery for a shoot, they're not going to wait 2 days for you to send your parcel down when they could send someone to pick something up. So I think you can obviously make it a success in the north, but I think moving to London was definitely the catalyst for my career. It was the best decision I ever made in terms of kind of getting the success and the recognition a lot quicker and a lot easier than it is up north. I think, yeah, I would recommend that if you want to work in fashion, it's probably the best place in the UK to be.
Okay, any other questions? The lady here.
My name's Rubina, I'm the arts officer based here at Waterside. One of the questions that I'd be quite interested in asking is, you mentioned the manufacturing, and you let down sometimes. Yeah. Could you just sort of be able to expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. When I first started my own label, which I did before Aqua, all of the manufacturing and sourcing was done in the UK. Which was great at first. It meant you could be really heavily involved, but that industry's obviously declined quite a lot for numerous reasons, and most of our manufacturing now is done either within Europe or Asia. But when you're starting out, your numbers and your volume is obviously quite small, and if you have a factory and you've got 100 clients, 100 customers, the one that you're going to let down is always going to be the smallest one. They're not going to cancel an order for Marks and Spencer's that's 300,000 units when our order is 10,000 units. They'll make our delivery late, and that can put you in a real difficult position, especially if you're dealing wholesale with new accounts, and then if you let them down, they might cancel your order, but then you're liable for the stock. It's really important to find manufacturers that you can have some kind of relationship with, I think. And I think that's increasingly difficult at the moment, because the industry in general for manufacturing has become quite diversified throughout lots of different regions. You find less people now that can manufacture a T-shirt and a pair of jeans in the same factory. It's very much now, T-shirts and jersey might be done in Turkey, and wovens might be done in the north of China, and then embellishment might be done in India. So to just get one collection done, you might have to go and visit 6 different countries. And obviously when you're starting out, you don't have the funds to do that, and managing it remotely with the language barrier and even the business and cultural barriers that there are as well, it can be quite frustrating. I'd recommend that the best way when you're first starting out is to try and find someone locally who can stick with you for a couple of years until you get your numbers to a point where you can find a bigger manufacturer. Okay,
great. Any other questions? Oh, there's one at the back there.
Hi, do you take on interns? And if you do, what do you look for in a good intern?
We do take on interns, but not as frequently as you would think. A lot of labels based in London rely on interns, and we don't. One, because I don't personally believe in it ethically. One of the reasons I couldn't study fashion in London was my parents couldn't afford to pay for me to go work at McQueen for free, and I think you shouldn't be forced into working for free. So that's reason number one. But when we do take interns on, we pay them. We look for people who can juggle lots of different tasks. We like people who can 1 minute be dealing with press inquiries, 1 minute sewing a sample, the next minute they can be going out on errands. I think it's really important that people can multitask and that they don't have this ideal that just because they're going to be working for a fashion brand, it's going to be, you know, all kind of like glamorous meetings, because it's just not like that in the reality. Quite often it's packing boxes and cleaning, and even like myself and the MD of the company, like we participate in that daily. So we look for people who are good at multitasking, hard-working, and we like Northerners. Most of our team is from up north, surprisingly, and I think that's just because people levitate towards our brand because it's a Northern brand. Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people in London that want to work in fashion are not particularly hard-working.
Any other questions? Got one there, guy there.
So is none of your clothing manufactured or produced in the UK? Or you just outsource it to other countries?
Most of the actual production now is done out of the UK. We're looking at bringing some of the menswear back into the UK because the numbers are smaller for menswear, but we tend to find that we don't have any natural resources in the UK anymore. So if you wanted to make a cotton t-shirt, we don't have any cotton. There are no fabric mills. All of the places that made fabrics kind of went bust. So you end up shipping fabric in from other countries, and it's just not logistically profitable to pay for fabric to come from Turkey to England to make it here to then send it back to New York. It's just like it's not, you can't run a successful business that way at the moment. But I do think in the next like five to 10 years there probably will be a resurgence in UK manufacturing because people are struggling to get the quality levels that they want in certain places of the world.
Right.
Tunde, I find it interesting that you talk about university and the fact that your lecturer told you, you know what, this is probably not for you because, you know, like we're all about this and actually the industry is more like that. And in that way, do you feel that university is becoming less relevant in what they're trying to teach people about industry? And, you know, what do you say to people that are aspiring to be, you know, the next big thing?
I wouldn't say it's less relevant. I think university is a huge reason why we have such a strong creative industry in the UK, and for some people it works, but for me it just didn't. I was a mature student and I was running my own business when I went back there, and I found it frustrating that a lot of the core areas of the kind of syllabus were geared up to things that I didn't think were relevant because I was already running a fashion brand, and I realised that, you know, that's just not the way it is, and I found it frustrating that I was kind of paying and working to be in education as an adult and not getting out of it what I wanted. But maybe that's my pig-headedness, and maybe I shouldn't have been so naive to think that I would learn what I wanted to learn. I think it works for some people. I'd definitely say it's not the only way, and getting out of university when I did and taking the opportunities are the only reason that I got to where I am now. And I think if I'd have carried on in my degree and not taken those opportunities, who knows what would have happened. You know, I think opportunities only present themselves at certain times, and you should seize the moment. You shouldn't be scared of doing something in an unconventional way because it's the norm. I don't think university is the only route. I think you can make it yourself if you've got a good work ethic.
Right. I'd like to ask you a question myself as well, because you're a stylist as well as doing the fashion design.
I wouldn't say I would never call myself a stylist. I design the clothes and then work with the artists to kind of put looks together. But like
right.
I wouldn't, because I work for a brand, I can't pull together other brands' things and.
So it's your own.
I put
dressing people from your own brand.
Yeah,
I think, right?
yeah.
So what gives you most buzz then? Is it the kind of the design side, or is it the kind of marketing side or the business side nowadays? Do you think?
I think I enjoy the design side. That's what I enjoy naturally. That's my creative flair. I like to be able to make something out of raw materials. I like the business side of it more now.
Right.
I like to be able to go into a meeting and kind of, you know, get a big order from a huge department store and see the profit margin and see how then we can invest that money in other aspects of the business. I think it's kind of it's naturally evolved.
Evolved into that.
Yeah.
On that side. How did it feel when you very first saw like an item of clothing that you designed in a shop window?
It's amazing. I mean, on a really superficial level, there's a feeling that you get when there's something that you've designed and you see it in a store or a celebrity wearing it, or when you bump into someone in a nightclub and you realise that they're wearing your clothes, and that's almost sometimes as good because someone's actually just gone out and bought it and you know, they liked it that much that they wanted to buy it. That feeling is fantastic. I think that's the only reason that you would. That's why everybody's in the creative industries, isn't it? Is
that buzz, that feeling?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Okay. Okay, brilliant. Okay, I'd like to thank Ryan.
Thank you.